Well, hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Hope everyone had a great weekend. My audio should be better today. So if I'm a little too loud, let me know. But I did some tweaks, right? Made sure my audio was a little better than last time. Because last time it was like crazy hot, right? And I came prepared this time. I have my water. So, yeah, I'm not going to have any issues getting all parched, right? Okay, so I don't have very much time today. Today is officially the very first Boise Code Camp planning meeting. Okay, Boise Code Camp is on March 21st this year, I think. And so I'm part of the board, and so I help host this thing every year. And the call for presenters has been open for a while. So if you're ever wanting to come to Boise, Idaho, and present at our code camp, please submit your sessions. Actually, I'll go ahead and bring up that website, boisecodecamp.com. I'm going to just paste this into the chat for everyone. And so if you're going to be in the area, make sure you submit a session or come by and check it out. It's a full day of technology talks, right? And it's not just like .NET or anything like that. We cover a wide range of topics, okay? So today, I thought I would answer some issues that have been submitted to the Prism repo. Now, given I only have about an hour to stream today, we'll start with the hard stuff first, right? So many of you may know that I am the author of a Visual Studio extension called the Prism Template Pack, and I saw an issue submitted about that, so I wanted to check that out, and so you'll get to see me dive into the code of the custom wizards and everything that we use in that extension, and even possibly, if I have time, release the fix publicly to the marketplace. So let's go ahead and let's just get started, shall we? Where's my button? I gotta find my button. Is that my button? I think that's my button. All right. So this is the Prism repo. I'll actually copy and paste this into the chat as well, just in case you wanted to follow along. I'm going to go to our issues, and the one I saw, where is it? Right here. Let's open this up. So this person is complaining that using the Prism Template Pack, canceling the Add New Project wizard early via the X button, caused the wizard to become non-responsive. It then proceeded to delete my entire solutions folder. This even included all of the files that were not in use, the hidden VS, the Git folders, yada, yada, yada. I killed the window and have no idea if it would have carried up the folder hierarchy. Well, no, it would not carry up the folder hierarchy. So I can answer that question right away. No, that would not happen. It would only delete the files within that solution. And it really effed up his day. Well, I'm sorry about that. I understand how some bugs can be more frustrating than others. So let's check this out. Reproduce at your own risk. I will do that. Okay, so we're going to add a new project. We'll do a Prism blank app. Doesn't matter what container we choose. Click next. Click back. Pretty sure. Okay, pretty sure. So he's not confident of the reproduction steps. I'm sure. We'll go through it and see if we can reproduce it. Click the X in the top right. The plugin window crashes, not responding. Starts to delete everything in the solution. This includes hidden. And then we cry. Okay. All right, so let's check this out, shall we? Let me, Harrison, good to see you. Sweet, can't wait for this to be released for Mac. I just about have my boss talk to sponsoring y'all on GitHub so we can get it. Yes, if your company needs it, your company should step up and help support the people that support your company with free labor and tools and frameworks, right? Free instructions, free videos, and docs, and samples, and forum help, and video help, and stream help, and Come on, you don't get this kind of service from companies you actually pay for their product. Give me a break. All right, let's open up. I think this is, yes, Prism Template Pack. This is the solution. Now, many of you may know that this code is actually not on GitHub, and that's for a good reason. Because I'm not giving everything away from free. All right, I don't mind sharing my knowledge, my experiences in life. Oh, you know what? Another thing I need to do. I need to open up. We need to create a branch, right? But yeah, don't mind sharing a lot of things. But Visual Studio Extensibility is one of those you really only learn from experience type things, and I have many years experience creating extensions. And so I really try to force companies to pay for that experience. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new branch here. And what is the you know what? I'm just going to name it that issue, which is 2004 canceling ad project. Okay, we'll say issue 2004. There, issue 2004. Good. Now I can change stuff and not worry about breaking it. So the first thing I want to kind of point out is how this solution is set up. This template pack project here, this is the actual extension itself. This is where our manifest file exists. So for example, I'm going to open up this manifest file and I'm going to change this to version 2.1.8 because we are doing a bug fix. So I want to make sure I do not forget to update the version because that would suck. Okay. Next thing we want to do is go into our wizards file. So essentially, the Prism Template Pack is a project template / item template / code snippet extension to Visual Studio that allows you to create new projects. And an aspect of creating a new project is, I believe this was a Xamarin Forms project. Yes, Xamarin Forms, okay. Is that we have a wizard that shows a custom wizard dialog for picking things, and we create custom templates. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate the scenario first, right? So I'm going to debug this extension. And so what's going to happen is it's going to use an experimental instance of Visual Studio. So what's happening on my other window, I'll drag it over as soon as it's done, is Visual Studio is a new instance, which is called the experimental instance, is being started up. So I'm going to drag this over. So following the directions, we're going to create a new project. Okay. Well, that kind of works as... I'm going to say I'm kind of expecting that to work. We need a Prism blank app Xamarin Form. So we'll say Prism blank app Xamarin Forms. Right there. Okay, and yeah, we'll call it blank app 1. Create. Sure. Okay, create project. Well, actually, admin, let me open up this folder. What is it? It's C. Users. Admin. Source. Repos. Now, the way Visual Studio works is once you get past the built-in wizard, right? I'm showing my custom wizard here, but it's already created the folder structure for the project that it's going to lay down, right? So if I back out of this, if I hit cancel, okay, that's expected. You throw what's called a wizard backout exception, and this tells Visual Studio that they're backing out. And this is where you do any cleanup. Okay, so we're going to keep going with that. And so if I go back, we can see that that solution did not get created. Which, that's exactly how I would expect it to work. Exactly how I would expect it to work. So let me look. Let me look at this. Deleting everything. Okay, I don't think these instructions are very good because it worked exactly how it was supposed to work. And obviously it did not go non-responsive. What's supposed to happen is let's watch, create, At this point, Visual Studio has already kind of laid down the folder structure. It's paused because my custom wizard is waiting for input. So if we look again, we'll see the blank one app. Here, let me see if I can shrink this down. Just kind of put it over here. I'll hit X. Yep, wizard back out exception. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. And then we'll check our folder again, and it's gone. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. Exactly. Steve-O, maybe have an existing solution at... Great idea. Let's go back. Let's add something like a class library, right? Well, let's do a class library. Okay, we'll create a class library. Let's have a... That's a great idea. We'll have an existing solution. Then we'll add the Xamarin Forms project, cancel it, and then we may have an issue, right? Okay, so let's right-click. We're going to add a new project. Let's see what we have on disk. Class library. Okay, this is exactly what we would expect. Put that in the corner. Nope. I need the Prism, Xamarin, blank app, Xamarin Forms. We'll call it blank app. Create. Okay, so let's check our folder. There's the blank app. It should be empty for now. Okay. We'll cancel. Oh, Steve-O, you found it. You found it. That's exactly what's going on. DB lock because it's being used by another process. That process is Visual Studio. Let's continue through. Okay. And then let's look at our solution. And yes, everything has been wiped out. That is no bueno. No bueno. Okay, so let's stop that. Okay, what do we have here? So the logic basically goes, we're going to show this dialogue. If they cancel the dialogue, that's hitting the X button. Steve-O could blame VS for that. Well, before we blame VS, let's check my logic. I probably just messed something up. I probably never considered the scenario where someone has an existing solution and they're adding a Xamarin Forms app to it. Because normally you start with the Xamarin Forms app because it throws down like 4 projects in your solution, right? So when they hit cancel, you throw a wizard back out exception, right? That's how it works. And then you go into your catch, and then you use your catch to clean up those folders. And that's exactly how Visual Studio does it. However, I obviously have an error in my logic here. Let's look. Okay, so I get the solution directory. We check if it exists, and then we delete, and then... For one, I see a problem. For one, I do see a problem. Any subdirectories in the... Okay, this probably needs to go away. This is a good start, for sure. Let's stop this. I can't make any changes until I stop that. Okay. I'm wondering if that's all I needed to do. Let's find out. Let's run this again. Because in that specific case, I specifically told it to be recursive, and maybe that's not what I need to happen. So, the thing about starting up the Visual Studio experimental instance is that it kind of resets the environment every time, so it doesn't remember anything. So let's create a class library. Class library 2, that's fine with me. Oh, I closed that folder, dang it. I'll open it back up, no big deal. Alright, so let me drag the experimental instance over. I'm going to right click and open folder and explore so we can see what's going on. Okay, that's a dead one. Okay. So now what we want to do So we want to test adding the new project. And actually, let me go ahead and hit a breakpoint right in this run started. Okay. So now we're going to add Prism Xamarin Forms, Prism App Xamarin Forms. Next. Sure, that's fine. Okay, so let's check out Replacements Dictionary. This is a collection of, think of it as variables that Visual Studio gives you about the project being created, right? So one thing I want to pay attention to is the solution directory right here. That's where it's going. We also have a destination directory. This is the destination of the app that we're adding, the project that we're adding. So they're different, right? Let's think about that. Okay, so we're going to step through this. We're going to create our dialog. We're going to show our dialog. At this point, our dialog shows up, right? I'm going to close out of it. Our result is canceled, right? Cancel true. So the wizard backup exception is going to throw. Directory is not empty. That is fine. But yeah, Steve, well, that might, the actual problem solution directory is cleaning out. Oh, I might want to just delete the project, right? Well, here's the deal with that, Steve, is that makes sense for, say, if you have an existing project that you're adding to. However, if this is just a Xamarin Forms project you're creating and there's not an existing solution, you want to delete the whole folder. Okay. So that is a problem. And then I get this exception. So that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. But the good news is that we did not delete anything there, right? We didn't delete the folders. So it's an improvement. It's an improvement. Okay, let's close this out. Okay. I'm going to delete that. So what I probably need to do, what I want to do is I want to, for one, catch that exception, right? I want to catch that specific exception. I don't want that to bubble up because that's okay. So the weird thing, when you're writing Visual Studio extensions, you kind of have to change the way you think about how you handle exceptions, because exceptions aren't necessarily bad. They're actually, you can use them to your advantage. And in this case, as proven, you have to actually throw exceptions to even interact with the Visual Studio shell in general. So if I want to cancel creating a project, I actually throw an exception. So what if we do this? Let's throw a catch in here, but it's going to be empty. It's empty because I want to delete what I can, right? But leave everything in place. So that's okay. But that still leaves behind. Okay, let's run this. I think. So this is basically leave folders in place, right? This is kind of what we're doing here. Oh, crap. Got to do it this way. Right? Let fail. Leave folders in place. Let's try this again. So what we're trying to do here is a couple things. For one, we want to keep the behavior of, I'm going to clean up after myself if we cancel out. But we don't want those exceptions to bubble up, right, to the UI of the Visual Studio. Hi, Brian. It's standard issue Brian here. Standard issue. You know, there used to be a joke back when Prism first went open source, because it was myself and Brian Noyes. The joke was you had to be a Brian in order to work on Prism. Okay, let's see. So we'll create this. This is fine. Create. Yes. The real Brian Lagunas. You're a Brian. You would qualify. Okay, so let's make sure we still have... Yep, we still have our breakpoint. That's fine. Where's my... There it is. Okay, so we're going to add a new project. This is a Prism Template Pack. Extension. Xamarin Forms. Not module. Not module. This is for the app. Which I may have to change it. What is the net effect of line 45? Well, let me get to line 45 and we'll get there. Okay, so let me just double check. Okay. Destination. We're gonna have to come back to this because this is not okay. Yeah, this is not gonna fix my problem. It's gonna fix one problem, but not the other. The lock bot not done yet. Oh God, is that what my phone is going off right now? I guess not. So Dan got tired of people bringing up old issues that had solutions. So he's like, "That's it. We're done. We're locking all these issues that have been closed and marked as resolved. You can't respond to them anymore. Create a new issue." And because of that, you have now been spammed by the lockbot. And yeah, I've have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails from lockbot. So let's show our dialog. We're going to back out. The results canceled. We throw a wizard backout exception. So this is what we're doing now. Yes, okay. This is going to work. I just realized why. Right. Okay. So VJ Kennedy just asked, what is the net effect of line 45? This right here. So up here, what we did is if the user canceled our custom wizard, our custom dialog, right, we're throwing a wizard back out exception. Now, this is an exception that the Visual Studio project system is looking for. And when it hears this exception, it knows not to create a project and it's going to keep the project window open. Okay. What was happening before we added this is we would throw an exception trying to clean up a directory. However, that is the exception that was thrown back to Visual Studio, right? Not the one I was trying to rethrow. I think that's what was happening. I was trying to rethrow this one. I want to throw this one. I don't want to throw anything else that happens in here. So now what we're doing is we're catching this exception and we're swallowing it. And what this should do theoretically is leave all those folders in place. So now we're going to throw. That's exactly what should happen. The project window stayed open. So now we kept everything. This is beautiful. We kept our VS. Our class library is still there. This is a problem though. This right here, that is a problem for sure. We still have to clean up the destination directory. We still have to do that. Okay, so now if I close this, you see I've completely canceled creating projects. Visual Studio is still stable. Everything is good. And I can go back in here and I can add another project and I can try it again, right? I haven't lost my workflow. I haven't crashed Visual Studio. So let's try it again. But I need to get rid. Yeah, see now blank app 2 because we didn't clean up this one. We need to do that. So let's create. I'm going to step through this. I'm actually going to hit a breakpoint here. Oh, wait. I already kind of know what I have to do. going to have to grab the destination directory. That's what I'm going to have to do. Okay. Yeah. That's what I have to do. Okay, we're going to cancel this. Essentially, we have to do the same thing. Except in this case, we have to do that. Right? So first we're going to check the solution level. If it exists, we're going to try to delete it. However, it's going to throw an exception because files exist in that solution. That's perfectly fine. That means we're in an existing solution. Right? Let it fail. Keep the files in place. Okay. Next, we're going to try the destination directory. The solution directory is different than the destination directory, especially as we have seen, because we're adding to an existing solution. These will not be the same. The destination directory will be different. So we're going to try the same approach. That's bothering me. We're just going to check. Oh my gosh. Copy and paste. Come on, Brian. Come on. That would have been bad. There we go. There we go. Man, copy and paste gets me every time, I swear. Okay. Uh-oh. What'd I do? Do I have an... Oh, that's what I did. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to check the destination directory. So in the case, this is my thought. I'm trying to walk through this in my head before I actually run it. If we're in an existing solution, this will fail. Leave everything in place. Then we're going to move to the destination. Now we're going to find something. Oh, yeah. Found you. Yes, we were able to delete you. And then we continue on. Now, my thought is also, when I'm not in an existing solution, this code should execute just fine. And then this directory won't even exist because it's been deleted up here. That's my thought. So let's check it out. Okay. I mean, it makes sense when I say it out loud, right? Getting Visual Studio ready. Create a new project. We'll create a class library. Yep, library 2. So let's open this up. I'm going to delete this. Okay, so here's library 2. Double check everything, looking good. So we're going to right click. We're going to add a new project. Again, this is Prism. We want a Xamarin Forms app. Blank app. Create. Okay. So what we should have now is blank app 1. Exactly. We're going to show our dialog. We're going to cancel out. Okay. So this should fail because we're in an existing solution. Got it. Okay, so that did not delete anything. Okay. Now what we're checking is for the destination directory, which is this blank app 1. Now that worked. And then we're rethrowing the wizard backout exception to tell Visual Studio that we have canceled. And we're back at the configure your project here. And I'm going to check, and it's gone. We fixed it. We fixed it. Golf clap. We fixed it. However, I still need to test a solution by itself. Back. Close. And that worked. Okay, so let's close this one. We're going to create a new project. And in this case, we're going to create the Xamarin Forms project alone, not an existing solution. So I make sure that we clean up this. In this case, we want to clean up the entire solution. So the blank app 1 works for me. Okay, at this point. Oh, wait. Jump back. Blank app 1. Okay. We're going to show. Let's cancel. Let's run through here. Solution directory. That is the blank app 1. Deleted. Let it. Uh-oh. It still failed. Did that fail? That still failed. It failed, but it didn't fail. That shouldn't have done that. Add recursive back. Maybe. But that was the, I wonder if it's because I had it open. Did I have it open? Let's go back. Let's try this again. Wait a minute. Okay, let's delete that. Create. Maybe I should check the destination directory first. Maybe I should check the the destination directory first. Right? You know what? Maybe not. Maybe not. No. That's probably what's happening, actually. Yeah. I think that's what's happening. Because what's going on is at this point... Whoops, not that one. We have a folder inside of this folder. So we actually... yes. That's it. That's it. Okay. Cancel. I think all I have to do is this. I think it's that simple. I think we just delete the destination, which we want to do every time. If you're in a new solution, that means all the folders inside will not exist and you could delete the solution directory. Right? I think so. Say add recursive. Nope, can't. In an ideal world, we would have a collection of items created. Yes. Okay, let's try this. I think this is going to work. But now we have to test both scenarios again. Writing Visual Studio extensions is very... what's the word I'm looking for? Finicky? Okay, so let's first start with a new from scratch solution. I'm going to clean up everything in here, actually. Okay. Oh, wait, go back. There we go. Okay, blank app 1. Create. We should have the solution folder and the destination folder. Right? We're going to show our dialog. Cancel. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. But I think it worked. Because look, wizard backout exception. There we go. That totally worked. I could do it again. I can do it again. Cancel. This way I'll step through it. Destination. That worked. Solution. That worked. Neither one of those through. Right? And then we rethrow that wizard back out exception. Perfect. Perfect. Let's go back. Harrison, kind of off subject here, but I was wondering about the variables and the strings with $ around them. What is the deal with that? Like destination directory. Oh, okay. So let me create a class library. Let me get into that. We'll create this project here. That's a great question, by the way. Not off subject at all. You're talking about these right there, right? So in Visual Studio, that is the convention for variables that Visual Studio uses, right? So this right here is coming from Visual Studio in this replacements dictionary. So let's go ahead and run our wizard and we'll look at them again. So we're going to add, this is the case where we're adding to an existing solution, new project. So class library, right? Yep, okay. We're going to add our Prism, Xamarin Forms. Create. Okay, at this point, we have blank app 1. Perfect. Now, this wizard is based off an interface called iWizard. Right here. This is a Visual Studio wizard. Okay. And so, if you look at the replacements dictionary, you can see all of the variables that they give you follow that $ name of the variable $ convention. So that's how Visual Studio gives you this collection of information. So it's a dictionary, so that is the key, right? And so I'm doing replacements dictionary, key of destination dictionary, destination directory. And this is the value that I will get back. Okay. Now we also have something else going on here where I'm adding my very own parameters to the replacements dictionary. Now, in this case, I'm not following their convention because I'm using NuGet. Let me back up. All of my project templates are in a NuGet file. So if we look under this templates folder, you see this? Prism.wpf.templates 1.0.0 NuGet package. Yeah, that's where my templates are. And so in order to access information in my template from that NuGet package, I have to use this pass-through to pass this information down into those templates, which is pretty cool. This also means, not many people know this, you can actually use a CLI, the .NET CLI, to create WPF and Xamarin Forms templates from Prism because we support it. But, who cares, right? All right. Hope that helps. I hope that helps a little bit. Okay, so let's show our dialog. I'm going to verify that we have our blank app in here. Yes. Okay. Whoops. Didn't mean to close that. Need my dialog back. Let's cancel out. All right, Harrison, have a good one. Thanks for joining. We're going to delete our destination directory, which worked perfectly. And this should fail because we're in an existing directory. And it failed, but we want to swallow it. And we throw the wizard backout exception, which tells Visual Studio, back up. Back it up. I'm not done. Hit back, and I could choose a different project type if I like. And we have fixed the bug. Awesome. All right, so let's stop that. We are done here with this one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a release. Now this is one of the few parts of Prism that we do not have automated just because it kind of, like, I don't know, we just never took the time to really set it up. Couldn't really get it to work. We have some Mac stuff that's failing and yeah, it's just a big mess. So I'm going to do it manually. All I do, I'll switch to release mode. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to delete the bin and OBJ folder. Right? And let's do a rebuild. And I've already incremented the manifest, the version number, right? So template pack, bin, release. There it is. So let's minimize that. I'm going to copy this to my desktop, actually. And I'm going to delete this because we're done here. Okay, got that. Where is Visual Studio Marketplace? Publish extensions. My Prism Template Pack. I'm going to edit my Prism Template Pack. I'm going to pick a new one. So if we pay attention to this version here, 2.1.7, we will go ahead and go to my desktop and upload that. Now the version has been updated to 2.1.8. I'm not going to change anything here. Looks good to me. Save and upload. And that is it. So in about, I don't know, 3 minutes or so, 5 minutes, this verifying will go away. And I'll get an email saying that the new Prism Template Pack has been published to the marketplace and we can actually download it. All right, so thanks for letting me know. This has, whoops, been fixed. You can get it in a few minutes via, what was it? What's the 2.1.8? 2.1.8. Yeah. Okay. Fix my spelling. Thanks for letting me know. Whoops, see, can't spell. It's been fixed. You can get it in a few minutes via version 2.1.8. Close. Sweet. I like easy ones. That was an easy one. That was very easy. And that was verified, so I can remove that one. Okay. Nice. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Okay, I got about 20 more minutes, so let's see what else we can fix. DelegateCommand base should have a second constructor. Ugh. Oh, man. Okay. Wait, before I forget, I need to publish this. Okay, fixed 2004. What the? Is that not allowed? Hey. Oh, there we go. Okay. Fix issue 2004. And I'll publish this branch. And then I will merge that later. Okay. So let's close that. Now we're looking at DelegateCommand base should have a second constructor. What's second constructor? So this is an interesting one. And I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to approach this one. Essentially, in DelegateCommand, Prism's DelegateCommand, we capture the synchronization context of the UI. And what this does is it forces, well, for one, let me back up just a little bit. When you're using commands and you're data binding your command to the UI, that command has to be invoked on the UI thread. It has to be. Okay? And for 99.9% of the time, you're creating these on the UI thread. Otherwise, it would not work. Okay? So what Prism did was we provided the ability to capture the synchronization context, right? We're capturing the UI thread and we're saving that off. And the reason we do that is because sometimes you might want to invoke the can execute of the command on like a background thread or something, right? So what this does is it marshals it properly to the proper dispatcher thread, and it works as expected, even though you're invoking this on a background thread. However, if you are creating your commands on a separate thread, this is no bueno. For one, this won't work in normal WPF because obviously you have thread affinity. You can't use an object that was created on one thread in a different thread. You'd have to marshal that back and forth. And so they call it a bug. This is definitely not a bug. It's actually by design. You should not be creating your commands on a background thread. It's ridiculous. But we do have the ability to capture the synchronization context. However, they're recommending adding to the synchronization context to the constructor. I don't like that. I don't like this for a number of reasons. One, it's definitely a major change, a break. Right? That's a major breaking change. Two, this is not common enough to surface in such a like in-your-face way. Like, I actually want to discourage anyone from creating things on the background thread, commands on a background thread. I want to discourage you. I don't want you doing it. So after thinking about this, I kind of talked about it with Dan. I had a couple of ideas, and I'm not 100% sure which one I'm going with. But let's start by opening up the solution. Actually, I'm gonna open up the one with the hello world so I can kind of play with the API instead of being inside of a unit test. So if we go to commanding, right? So when you create your command, it's automatically capturing the current thread that you're on. It does it automatically, right? And this means because you're creating it on a UI thread, we automatically capture the UI thread. And if you ever have to, invoke your can execute change, or if this ever invokes, say you're changing a property on a background thread or something like that happens, it will use the UI thread because that's what you supposedly created it on. Well, in this case, this person is not creating it on a UI thread. Naughty, naughty. And I'm trying to think of the best way to expose this functionality without making any type of major changes to the public API, while at the same time not encouraging that behavior at all. So his recommendation first was to add a constructor. So let's just pretend there was a constructor. So let me go to like my main window view model here, and I'll have my show dialog command. So this already has like two constructors, right? You have one that you provide an execute, and you have one where you provide a can execute. Well, using the recommended approach in the issue, can I not spell? I can't spell. Why can't I spell? Oh my gosh. There. That means you would have like this. I don't want that at all. That's definitely a no. I do not want to provide a synchronization context in the constructor. Another thought I had, actually delete this, was to do like a set synchronization context, like a fluent API, right? And then you would pass in your sync context here. That's another idea I had, where it would let you set it, right? You create it, you set it, you're good. But Dan brought up the point, and I may need everyone's input on this, is that you may want to get access to the synchronization context so you can check to see which one you're on, right? Like a property. Well, okay, a property's okay, but I hate having two ways to do the same thing. Hate it. It just causes confusion and gives your API a sense of bloat. And Prism suffers from that in many areas because there's too many ways to do the same thing. So I'm trying to reduce that from happening. So another option is to have a show dialog command .synchronization context property that you can set to your sync context, right? And this way you can set it or get it. Doesn't matter. So another thing that came up was Dan was like, well, he likes the Fluent API. Of course he does. He likes all the new like syntactical sugar stuff. I don't care. But he's like, what if you made the set sync context method and you provided a read-only property so you can at least check the sync context? Well, it's almost like, well, what's the point? For one, I want to discourage the use of this. So maybe I don't even do this method here. Maybe I only do a get set property. Right? I don't know. What is everyone's thoughts on that? Anyone having opinions? Would you rather have the method with a read-only property, right? So that you couldn't do this. You could only say, you know, like, if that doesn't equal the, you know, sync context.current or something like that. Actually, I'm using it here. AGR, my friend, how you doing? Right, so you could do something like that, okay? But I would prefer 5x5. Let's do just some Prism API design. We're trying to expose some new functionality. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it, and Steve, I'm still puzzled how and why they managed to create the commands on a background thread. Right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So, here's another question to you. What if we just say, by design? Like, no, you shouldn't be doing that. Right? Like, I'm sorry, you did something stupid. Why are you doing that? Why are you creating on non-UI threads? That's just, why? So, I don't know. Another part of me says, we had the synchronization context. You know, we're using it internally. You know, why not just maybe expose it as a property? Right? I don't know. I'm really torn on this one. I am really torn. Really torn. I'm not sure if I should even do this. I mean, we have the synchronization context now. That way you can invoke the can execute changed on a background thread. Maybe you're doing lots of property updates on a thread, and you know that can fire. That works perfect. That works perfect. Death Knight, it's nice to be flexible, but I think better to be consistent. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, the only reason we have the synchronization context is, like I said, is so you can update properties and make change notifications from a background thread, which is okay. Because data processing, you should probably do on a background thread. If you're updating data, especially in like ticker type stock applications, that comes in handy. But you shouldn't be creating your commands, your commands that you bind to the UI. You know these bind to the UI. You should be creating those in a background thread. Why is it tagged as a bug? I removed those tags, actually. Zenaki added the bug. I removed it and put enhancement. Yeah, Death Knight. So nice to implement requests, but I believe the purpose of Prism is to enforce good programming. So if you have to choose between flexibility or good programming, I say err on the side of good programming. I like the way you put that. Yeah. AGR is saying, oh, I see his point. You're making an assumption in the constructor. I'd expose a second constructor to override the behavior. No, we cannot do that. We cannot do that. For one, you can't just add a constructor to DelegateCommand base and have it work. It's not how it works. Because if you're doing that, let's look at the code. Right? We're DelegateCommand base. If we added another constructor, we would have to change the DelegateCommand constructor. And you missed this part because you just joined, but then that changes your creation to this, passing in your sync context. That's definitely not happening. Like I said, this is not something I would ever recommend. You know, like I'm telling you, you know your command is going to data bind to the UI. You should not be creating those commands on a background thread. You know what? Yeah, if someone needs, yeah, Alexi, if someone needs to set it in the 0.00001% case, why not with reflection? Let's see. AGR, you shouldn't have to change that statement if you had a second constructor. Yes, you would. Actually, you would have to add more than one constructor. Because when I create this delegate command, I am passing in the delegate for my execute and for my can execute. So we would have to have a constructor, because this is a constructor. Right? Execute, sync context, right? You would have to have one like that. Then you would have to have one for the can execute delegate, sync context, right? So you're not adding just one constructor. You have to add multiple. And that is definitely not going to happen. So yeah, if they want to specialize, exactly. They can derive from DelegateCommand base and override. Look, this is virtual. That is virtual. They can derive from this, override on can execute changed, and change their logic. So they can override that behavior. Totally override that behavior. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'm not doing this one. Yes. After thinking about this issue. Whoops. Man, I cannot spell today. About your issue. And consulting the dev community during my weekly live stream, we are in agreement that this whoops, I didn't mean to put a comma there, that this is not something that we should do in Prism. We highly discourage the creation of commands on a background thread due to thread affinity issues when binding to the UI. Yes, I like run-on sentences. I do. That's how I talk. I type like I talk. How bad is that? But I didn't mean to put that one. We highly discourage the creation of commands on a background thread due to thread affinity issues when binding to the UI, as you have seen. However, you do have options. You could simply derive Code Rushed. Oh my goodness. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for joining. I got the notification that you were streaming, but I was getting ready for my own stream. Everyone watching, if you have not seen Code Rush write his awesome games, you should definitely hop on there. Okay, you could simply derive from DelegateCommand base. Oh, he doesn't even have to. You know what? Let's look at this. I don't even think you have to do from base. you can derive from DelegateCommand and override. Yeah, hold on. Let me prove this out before I say anything. You could totally do that. Public class my command DelegateCommand as an example. Override. Is this it? On can execute change. Right there. Yep. And then you can have your sync context however you want. Add your own constructors. Perfect. Death Knight, need to add disclaimer that further deviance from coding standards will be punished. You know what? I might do that, actually. Yeah, so you could simply derive from DelegateCommand, add your custom CTOR, and override the on can execute changed method to use your custom context instead. Good luck. Let me know if you have any problems. You know what? I'll just say good luck. Don't let me know. Don't let me know. Just good luck. I don't want to know. AGR, need a comma after DelegateCommand. Is that the stream we're doing today? Is that the stream we're doing, really? Brian likes run-on sentences. Where's your comma? You misspelled that word. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. I want to know, what is he actually doing? You know what? I have an idea. I bet what's happening, and I see this a lot. It's just, I don't know where it started, but every time I see it, I try to just get rid of it. Most of the times when I see this, I see it in a sample that you have like a list box, right, in an items control, and then they have a template for that items control. And then what they do is they create a class called, you know, my item view model. And then they'll add a command to it. That way they can, their template can have a button that binds to that command to delete that item or update that item or edit that item, right? And they call that a view model. Don't do that. That's horrible. That's not what it is. No. Don't do that. You would have a collection of your items, like my item, and then you could still have a button on your template. That's fine. The command would just data bind to your view models command, and you would pass that selected item as a parameter. That's all you do. Huh, VG Kennedy. We used to call that coding by the pound. Oh my god. That's awesome. I'm going to... can I use that? I would love to use that. Coding by the pound. That's exactly what it is. And then before you know it, every class in your application is view model. Like, no, that is not what a view model is. Like, stop it. Stop it. That's not what a view model is. Okay? I totally get it. You think, you know what? It's a template. This item template represents the UI, so I'm going to create a view model for each item in this No, that's not what it's about. Not by a long shot. There's other patterns that you should be using, like maybe an adapter pattern or a facade pattern, or there's other patterns out there that you should utilize. Not everything is a view model. Okay? I actually get on to customers a lot for that. Not everything is a view model. So, okay, we will call this one Dunzo. We're not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. Okay. I only have about 10 minutes left. I'm not sure what else we can kind of get in there. Okay, let's see. Using a tab page, navigating tab. Okay, this is Xamarin Forms. Okay, so they're navigating to a tabbed page in which binding on an item source is delayed. Then the current page of tab page is null. Yes, that would be null because you're navigating to an empty tab page. Right? Yeah. Oh, what? Death Knight. Yeah, I think the problem is that there aren't many places to learn MVVM proper, so there could be some confusion between what goes in different classes. Plus, if you learn bad habits, you tend to pass those on. That is true. That is very true. That's a great point. There's lots of stuff on the internet that shows bad practices and everything. Like, I don't get on Stack Overflow anymore because of its toxic environment and the way they treat people. So I just stopped getting on Stack. I refuse to go on Stack Overflow. However, I still see the questions people are asking. I have a feed, an email thread that comes to me because I want to see what type of questions people are running into. So maybe I can create content or samples or documentation to help with that. And sometimes the answers that people are giving just make me want to throw myself through a window. It's like, no, don't do that. But you know what? I've already said it. I'm not participating in Stack Overflow anymore. So I'm sorry. I'm not answering that. But yeah, lots of bad advice out there. HDR, it's unfortunately a case about all programming on the internet. There's so much information that's not there that there's too much information. Yeah. Yeah, Death Knight. I agree. You know what? I'm gonna call it. I don't have time for this because I have the Boise Code Camp planning meeting. So I'm just gonna start winding this down. But yes, Death Knight. It's like a standard response of something negative. Like a Stack Overflow bot. Yeah, just like our hold on, let me check how many more emails I have from the new, I'm gonna call it the Dan bot, not the lock bot. The Dan bot. Yep. Lockbot. Oh my gosh. Dan, you are killing me, brother. You are killing me with these. And there are, okay, luckily there's only 427 people actually watching. So only 427 people got spammed by our lockbot. Oh my gosh. AGR, sometimes people use a second account to answer the question badly so that they can get... No way. They answer the question so they get putting down the answer. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that. It's horrible. That's horrible. See, things like that don't even occur to me to do. Oh my goodness. That is just sad. Sad. Yeah, I'm reading this tab page one. I'll let Dan handle that one. But I did get notification that 2.1.8 is now available. Our fix has been published publicly. So that's good news. We'll close all these out. Could have been worse. You could try to get help on Microsoft forums. Yeah, good luck with that one. Oh my gosh. I used to actually participate a lot on the Microsoft forums back in the day. And yes, Death Knight, I agree. I hate when people try to learn and get beat down for it. You know, I remember vaguely the reason I stopped using Stack Overflow personally is because someone had a Prism question, right? And it was a legitimate bug. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, you found a bug. Good find. Here's a link. Submit your bug. Right? And then we'll take care of it. And then people closed out the topic closed out my answer or something like that. Like they deleted my answer because it didn't fit their guidelines or it wasn't a real answer or something stupid like that. Not knowing that, for one, I am the person who wrote that code. But two, no, it's a legitimate bug. Submit it. And we'll get it fixed. How is that not an answer? And then, yeah, I'm going to blame it on the real Brown Lagoonist. It was all him. And then, there was this whole thread after that. It went huge. I'm like, you know what? I'm done arguing with these people. Fine, I'm done. I'm out of here. Yeah, it's bad. MS Forms cut and paste, There are too many programmers that are just looking for copy-paste solutions without understanding what they are doing. They're just there to get the job done. You know what, Steve? I'd actually argue there's a lot of normal programmers that do that too. No. In all seriousness, there's definitely some good stuff on Stack Overflow. It was just the whole community, like the negative, like you suck, I'm better than you. Look at all my points. You don't know what you're talking about. What are you doing asking that stupid question? Or like just all kinds of like, they're not nice to people at all. I mean, I can be like short, like if you submit an issue and I know I'm not going to do it. I'm just saying, yeah, we're not doing this. Thanks. But I'm not like putting you down or like calling you names and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just don't like that environment. Yeah, nothing wrong with it as long as you attribute. Yeah. Don't reinvent the wheel. That's for damn sure. Don't reinvent the wheel. Take code, borrow it, right? And for the most part, the code you take doesn't work exactly as is anyways. You'll have to modify it every time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, exactly, Death Knight. I always encourage people to ask. I ask questions all the freaking time. I don't know everything. You know how freaking... I don't even know the word I would look for of the kind of person I would be if I thought I knew everything. That would be ridiculous. Right? I'm constantly learning. Heck, I'm constantly learning on this stream in front of you. All of you get to watch me stumble through learning new technologies that I've never touched before and just be a total ignorant developer trying to learn something. Like, it's just, that's what you got to do, right? Yes, people need to be encouraged to ask questions. But it's, yeah, Alexi, bad, sad that people like you are out from Stack Overflow. Yeah, it is what it is. So, Angry Little Hamster. So, if you do not like Stack Overflow, where are beginner, intermediate level programmers go to get their questions? Well, for the Prism community, we actually have a private Slack channel. So, I'll actually bring it up. Where's my Slack? So, for Prism, we actually have a private Slack channel that we have that's been around for a while. And Dan and myself, here's Dan, we answer questions and we try our best to help the community out. Actually, the community helps themselves out. And we have, I think, over 1,000 people in our community so far, which is pretty good. And so if you're asking yourself, like, well, how do you get into the Prism one? Because we have channels for the template pack, WPF, Xamarin Forms, right? Here's a private chat we have for the team, which is just me and Dan. If you wanted to get on that Slack channel, you would have to actually sponsor us, right? So if you go to sponsor Brian Lagunas, for example, you can get access to that just by sponsoring for a month, right? Small price to pay to talk to the development team, I would say. Okay, depends what tool, language you're using. Like PowerShell is great for PowerShell, yeah. Lots of Slack channels, you are right. GitHub is also good. Now, for Prism in particular, we don't answer questions on GitHub. We refuse to do it. And actually, if you go to create a new issue, let's do that. I'm going to show you. We actually have a template. Like, ask a question. Stop. This issue will be closed. And then Dan actually monitors Stack Overflow. So he'll answer your question, but I'm not going to answer it. I'm not going to be on there. Actually, we should modify this template to say, join our Slack channel. I'll answer questions on the Slack channel, but I'm not going to Stack Overflow, just out of principle. Right? And then even in the bug report, like if we get started on this bug report, right here, for production, if you don't have a sample app, you're going to be closed, and we don't answer questions, right? So, yep, see. Yeah, lots of people have Slack channels for different things. GitHub is also good, yep. It could take some work. It takes a lot of work. Sure, you don't get most questions answered on GitHub, but documentation should be good for some projects. Yes, and we've been working hard on our documentation. Dan's put a lot of effort. So if you go to prismlibrary.com, documentation, we have been like actually stubbing out some stuff. It's kind of empty, but at least it's stubbed out, right? Xamarin Forms. Well, now the legacy stuff is all there. But Xamarin Forms has pretty good docs, right? I mean, we're working on it. We're working on it. It takes time, right? And AGR, never use Slack. Don't know if I ever want to. Hey, it's not for everybody. And it's another social networking tool that you'd have to have open or log into, right? Or get emails from. So it's more noise depending on where you're at now. Yeah, it's free. Not a bad app. If you don't have to admin it. Exactly. If you don't have to admin it. Yeah, it's not a dig at you guys either. Hey, I didn't even take it that way. Don't even worry about it. Another account to add to 200 plus. Yeah, no kidding. And I haven't used the API, Death Knight. I haven't used the API. So I think we have one bot. We have a Slack bot. But that was pretty easy to do. Other than that, nothing. But okay. I actually have a meeting I got to go get ready for and hop out of here for Boise Code Camp. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for helping me today with that conundrum I was in. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do on that feature, on that API. So thank you for talking some sense into me. I agree with everyone. Glad we didn't do it. And we also got that Visual Studio extension, the Prism Template Pack, fixed for that one issue because that was a legitimate bug. Thank you for submitting that. I don't remember your name, but thank you very much for submitting that. Death Knight, you take it easy. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I know you could spend your time anywhere else in the world right now doing anything else, and you chose to spend it with me, and I love you all for that. I hope to be back on Thursday, same time, same place. Have a good one, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.